This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Sometimes you don't even have one Democrat challenging for some of these Republican-leaning seats. So to have two Democrats is a little bit unusual, and they're both credible candidates.
Two Democrats square off in the Democratic primary. The winner will run against James Buchanan for the Sarasota open House seat. Who will come up on top? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Will it be the well-funded Sarasota lawyer or the progressive who will square off against James Buchanan in the race for the vacant House 72 seat? Polls closed, and now we'll find out together. Either Democrat Margaret Good or Ruther Gennari will face Buchanan. Libertarian Allison Foxall will also be on the ballot. Both Democrats have been running hard and believe they have a shot.
The advantage that I have not being a politician, the biggest one that I see is I'm one of everybody. I'm not somebody who is hardened by the system or corrupted by the system.
I believe in protecting the environment. As I said, my family is from Central Florida, and I have spent a good deal of my life in Florida and seen the changes in the last 40 years.
We'll have much more on the election in just a few minutes. Florida Fish and Wildlife says the body found off of Egmont Key is not a missing boater from Cortez. The body was found early Sunday. The body is of a white male who appears to be in his 60s. Last month, the U.S. Coast Guard was looking for a missing boater in that area, also a white male in his 60s. A parish man is being sentenced to prison for attempting to file a false lien against a federal judge. Wayne St. Albert Smith was found guilty in July last year. Smith attempted to record 3 separate liens against several individuals at the Manatee County's clerk's office. Smith claimed New Jersey and the state of Florida owed him almost $2 million for violating his constitutional rights. Smith will serve almost 3 years in prison. Inmates at the Charlotte County Jail now have access to tablets to take educational classes and communicate with loved ones. The devices are similar to smart tablets, except inmates aren't able to surf the web. Each of the 660 inmates have access to his or her own device. They will communicate with loved ones through the messaging app or take self-help and anger management classes. Inmates don't have access to games or movies, and the tablets are not paid for by taxpayers.
We do not pay a dime for any of these devices. The company provides them for free.
Inmates do not have access to things like games or movies, and everything else is closely monitored by the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. Legislation to create a memorial to slavery at the state capitol has passed its first Senate committee. The committee approved the measure for the 2018 legislative session. The bill would direct the Department of Management Services to develop a plan for a permanent slavery memorial at the Capitol complex in Tallahassee.
This Senate bill provides legislative intent. First, to recognize the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the United States and the American colonies, including Florida.
The Slavery Memorial has 2 more committee stops before it is ready to be voted on by the full Senate. In the House, the legislation has passed all committees. Lawmakers and criminal justice reform advocates gathered in Tallahassee today, calling on lawmakers to stop prosecutors from charging children as adults. According to the group No Place for a Child, Florida tries more kids in adult court than any other state. Many of the offenses are for nonviolent crimes like stealing or break-ins. The bill's sponsor says mistakes made by kids would follow them for the rest of their lives.
When anyone has a felony charge, especially someone as young as a child has been charged as an adult with a felony, it definitely is a blemish on their record. It makes it more difficult for them to get a job, to be educated.
Neither the House or the Senate bills have been heard by any legislative committee. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with his first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A nice day today. High temperatures above average once again. Low 80s for the most part. Some mid 80s well inland. It's cooled down just to 72 degrees. A very pleasant evening with just a few clouds around. The dew point 68. That's pretty high. That's a high number. And with the temperature and dew point getting close to one another under generally fair skies, we could see some fog in some patchy areas. Temperatures right right now, low 70s across the region. The Gulf water temperature now 74. It's actually warmed up 3 degrees since Friday as a result of the warm temperatures over the weekend and early this week. Now 73 in Arcadia and 71 now in Northport, the same in Inglewood. Well, it's all about to change now. As this cold front, we've been talking about it, and we talked about it last week that this cold air would be in place, and it is now progressing to the southeast. What's going to happen, this front's going to come down very slowly on Wednesday and Thursday, a little low pressure area, and a little piece of energy will eventually get this to sweep on through on Friday and bring with it a good chance for some rainfall. Some much needed rain is headed our way. On top of that, very cold air expected to move on in, at least for Florida standards, and a very cold air over the northeast United States. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. No rain around here. A few showers well to the southeast. Here's your evening planner. Looks pretty good. Really, temperatures into the mid-60s by 11 o'clock tonight under generally fair skies. And the winds are not all that strong. They're very light out of the southwest right now. A little sea breeze has kicked in. And with that light wind and clear skies, fog could become an issue again late tonight and tomorrow morning. But the bigger issue will be the colder air, the polar vortex, that's what we call it. Yeah, you know, there's always a name for something, isn't there? It's kind of like marketing. This little piece of cold air will slip down across the eastern United States.
My son in the New York area at college says it's 60 degrees. I had to tell him today that coming up when he gets home, it's going to be colder than that.
Yeah, they're going to get below 0 readings over parts of the Northeast. In fact, it's already down to single digits wind chill in places like Minneapolis and upper Wisconsin, too. So it's all headed this way. Not that cold, but a little bit on the chilly side.
All right, oh, Joey, thanks a lot, Bob.
All right.
And still to come, the Democratic primary for the polls has closed. Who will get the nod to face off with James Buchanan? Stay with us.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
For 30 years, it's been an honor for the Michael's on Ice team to serve you.
We love that our restaurant, wine cellar, and ballroom have become your favorite gathering places, and we love catering your parties.
From everyday celebrations to life's greatest occasions, please join us soon for new culinary adventures. A toast to 30 years.
And to many more.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these other injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-604-1698. That's 800-604-1698.
America. Drug addiction is plaguing our great country. Every minute of every day, one of our citizens is rushed to the emergency room with a drug overdose. Many will never leave, never see the dawn of a new tomorrow in our great nation. Call Make America Sober Again now, before this disease destroys your family, your friends, your country. If you or someone you know is struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, make the next minute in your life count. Make America Sober Again is committed to connecting you with someone compassionate and caring to help you right now. Call now and be connected to a treatment center in our network. Call Make America Sober Again now.
Call 800-793-6592. That's 800-793-6592.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
We know who the Republican will be vying for the state House seat vacated by Alex Miller, James Buchanan, the son of Congressman Vern Buchanan. But who will the Democrats pick? Attorney Margaret Good, who has the backing of a lot of party insiders, or Ruta Gennari, who is a business owner from the progressive wing of the party? We will know by the end of this broadcast, and ABC7's Rick Adams joins us live from the Supervisor of Elections office with more. Rick.
Yeah, Alan, good evening. I was just joking with Ron here. It feels like we're back to the general election, but it's not the general election. It's another election going on, and it's Ron Turner, the Supervisor of Elections here for Sarasota County. And Ron, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy
Thanks for
schedule.
being here. Well, thanks for being here tonight on election night for the special primary in House District 72. This was a Democratic-only primary. There were 2 Democratic candidates. Only registered Democrats could vote in today's election. It looks like we had about a 21% voter turnout today between vote by mail, early voting, and election day. More than 8,000 voters in House District 72 cast their ballots, it looks like. So, you know, one of these 2 Democratic candidates will be the nominee for the party, right? And they will go to the special election ballot in 2018 in February.
And 21%, you must be pretty happy about that for an election like this?
Yeah, you know, usually when you have maybe a municipal election or some type of special election that's not a normal or regularly scheduled primary or general, the turnout can be a little bit lower. So 21% is actually a fairly good turnout. I mean, it's not that much different than what you would have for a regularly scheduled primary here in Sarasota County.
What are the numbers right now? What do we know?
Well, if you look behind us with the 2 candidates, you know, we have 24 of 32 precincts that are reporting. And at this point, candidate Margaret Good has received more than 72% of the vote at this point to her opponent, Ruta Gennari. So you know, there's a few more precincts that are going to be coming in. We've got about 7 more that come in, but those are the results as they stand at this point.
And when will we know the final results? I know that's kind of speculative at this point.
Well, it is. You know, each of the polling locations, each of the precincts, actually the tabulation happens there with that tabulator that's with the ballot box. Those results are transmitted to us. So we're waiting for all of those precincts to transmit those results in. So hopefully fairly shortly, you know, as I said, we've got 7 that are outstanding. So hopefully those will be in shortly this evening.
Time frame?
Well, you know, I'm hoping before, you know, I'd say 7:30, before 8 o'clock, I hope. You know, as long as everything goes as planned, the best laid plans, but hopefully before 8 p.m. this evening, maybe as quickly as 7:30, you know, it just, again, it just depends.
And really quickly, what's next for the winning candidate?
Okay, so the Democratic nominee, whoever wins tonight's special primary, will face a Republican and a Libertarian opponent on a special election in February 13th, 2018. So essentially that February election will be a general election for this House District 72 seat that was vacant from the resignation of the former state representative here. So this Democratic nominee, the winner tonight, will face a Republican and a Libertarian candidate on February 13th in that election. Again, for that election, we'll have vote by mail, early voting, 32 precincts that'll take part. But for that election, every registered voter, regardless of party affiliation, there's about 120,000 of them in House District 72 registered voters that will be able to participate in that election.
So I guess the fun doesn't stop here.
No, you know, people ask us sometimes what we do in the elections office, and it seems like there's always an election that we're planning for or working on that's next, and we're happy to do that. That's what we're here for, to serve the voters of Sarasota County. So.
All right, Ron, as always, keep up the great work. I know your night's not over, and
well, I appreciate it, and thank you for helping us get the word out and information to our voters on the results this evening.
Okay, that's Ron Turner. He is Supervisor of Elections here in Sarasota County. We should know who the winner is very shortly. In the meantime, it's Rick Adams reporting live from downtown Sarasota. Alan, back to you.
Rick, thank you. The numbers continue to come in, and we will break them down with the Suncoast Republican and a Democrat at the Trapezoid.
your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
You can help make the wishes of Suncoast children and seniors come true this holiday season. Hi, I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Join ABC7 and share your good fortune by becoming a Salvation Army Angel.
Just stop by ABC7 or Sunset Kia in Sarasota, Bradenton, or Venice and pick up an Angel Tree gift tag. It will tell you what a local child or senior citizen is wishing for this holiday season.
From ABC7, thank you for your generosity and happy holidays.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Welcome back. Tea leaves. Both Republicans and Democrats are looking at special elections like the one taking place here in Sarasota as an indication how both parties will fare in next year's midterm. We know who the Republican will be, James Buchanan, the son of Vern. But the Democrats have an interesting decision to make. Do they go with Margaret Good, the well-connected attorney who's raised an impressive amount of money, or Ruta Gennari, a local business owner who has earned the backing of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party? And joining us for more is Democratic political activist Gabriel Hammond and Sarasota Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler. Gabriel, let me start with you because as I set up there, we don't know exactly how it's going to turn out tonight, although we see what the trend is right now. But Ruta Gennari did attract a lot of support from the progressive wing of the party, including the Progressive Caucus of Florida. And there really is a schism these days, is there not, between the progressives and Democratic activists like yourself who have been in this for a while?
Alan, you're correct. What happened in this race was an extension of what unfolded with the national presidential election, where you had the most liberal leaners of the Democratic Party fighting the moderate centrists that were represented by Hillary Clinton, and then you had the Bernie Sanders folks to the left of them. So it's still unfolding within the Democratic Party, this internecine war between, do we want a $15 million minimum wage? Do we want a $15 minimum wage, or do we want to slowly scale up the minimum wage? Those are the type of conversations that are happening within the Democratic Party right now.
Are you concerned because, as we saw in the presidential election, there were people who were so dedicated to Bernie Sanders, they were Bernie or bust, and they basically said that they were not going to come out for Hillary Clinton. Many of them in the end did, but are you concerned when you have a special election like this one, the progressives, are just going to stay home if their candidate doesn't win?
Well, the battle between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, got fairly vicious at the end of that primary, with the Clinton folks sort of undermining Bernie Sanders through the Democratic National Committee. That level of animosity didn't occur in this special election for a state House of Representatives seat. So I see right now the Democrats are real fired up with Trump in the White House, so we'll probably see a lot of enthusiasm on that side of the aisle going into the general election in February.
Christian, let me ask you about this, because this House district does encompass some of the most Democratic areas of Sarasota County, and given what Gabriel said in terms of there is a lot of passion on the Democrat side right now, does that give any Republicans pause in terms of you're really going to have to work your tails off to win this race at this stage?
Well, anytime you have a special election, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. It all comes down to turnout, and it's always low voter turnout typically in these races. So you have to have a good ground game, you have to have good messaging, you have to reach out to voters. But when you look at this specific district, this is a district Trump won by 5 or 6 points last year. And as we were talking about, there definitely is a rift in the local Democratic Party. I know a lot of them. And you hear the establishment and the money guys versus the grassroots and the purists. So there is something there that needs to be patched up, and I don't think James Buchanan's going to have that problem on the Republican side. He'll get the entire Republican support from all different spectrums of the Republican Party.
Is it a mistake for folks on either side of the aisle to look at a special election like this and try to read the tea leaves in terms of the midterms next year? You saw it take place with the special election for the state senate down in Miami. Mm-hmm. There's another one in Tampa. People are trying to see what's happening now. You could drive yourself crazy doing that.
Yeah, exactly, you could. So, you had the Georgia 6 election, Republican won that. Then you had down in Miami, and a Democrat won that. And after both of them, the message was, oh, Trump, his numbers are affecting everything. One was everyone supports the president still. The other one was the president's in trouble. The party's in trouble next year. I think when you look at these, especially these special elections, again, Sarasota, there's going to be, I don't know how many expected, maybe 20,000 people that are going to possibly vote in this. I don't think it's a good indication nationally what's going to happen.
Right. Before we go to break, let's look at some updated numbers as they are coming in here. As you can see on the right now, Margaret Good has jumped up to a big lead, 75.41% over Ruta Gianeri, who is at 24.59%. We will continue to update you on the numbers coming up. We're just getting warmed up. We'll have more on the Democratic primary in the House 72 right after we check the First Alert weather.
Do you have type 2 diabetes, which requires daily blood monitoring? If you have diabetes, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for diabetic testing supplies at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Our accredited staff will handle all of your paperwork for free. And best of all, your diabetic testing supplies are shipped directly to your home for free. Call now to see if you qualify for a meter upgrade and a free pedometer to monitor your daily walking. Use alternate testing sites, a smaller blood sample, and even hear your results out loud. Will you qualify for diabetic testing supplies and an upgraded meter covered by Medicare, Obamacare, or health insurance at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Diabetes Resource Center at 1-800-394-1098. That's 1-800-394-1098, 1-800-394-1098.
I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Our conversation on the House 72 primary continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful, crystal clear blue sky out there. Casey Key webcam. Look at the nice, calm conditions out on the waters, too. We'll take you through time this afternoon. It was perfect weather for the area beaches and a beautiful, spectacular sunset earlier this evening with some bright colors there. And now we are into clear skies. Some fog could be a possibility. Now, earlier today, Oscar Scheer State Park, Cindy Desmond was there taking this nice shot of the fair weather cumulus clouds around. Great park, too, for bird watchers. There's over 200 different species of birds there that hang out. Most notable is the scrub jay, which is rather visible at times there. And swimming, snorkeling, canoeing, kayaking, it all goes on right there at Oscar Scheer State Park off of 41 near Osprey. Lido also looking very good. Drew sending this one in of the sunset tonight with some calm conditions out there. Now, the calm conditions are going to be changing as a result of a strong cold front that is headed our way. Right now, this front is going to move in and move all this warm air out. It's warm right now, but this warm air is going to retreat and head down to the south. And then behind it, much colder air is going to spill in behind the front. But the front won't move through until Friday. So we've got a couple of days of warm temperatures, and then things will start to change a little bit. Right now, some light rain showers along the east coast on this east to southeasterly wind flow. And looks like we'll see that continuing tomorrow. So temperatures will be right around 80 degrees for a high. Evening planner looks good, too. A little bit of fog forming. Some low clouds could be around to start things off tomorrow morning. We'll be warm, 68 degrees at 11 o'clock. And then temperatures right now, low 70s, comfortable in Cortez, Bradenton, Sarasota, and Venice, and Northport, and in Inglewood, 72 degrees, 74, the Gulf water temperature. And as far as that trend goes for temperatures, we'll get a look. The bottom starting to fall out on Friday and Saturday. It should be a little bit cooler on Friday, probably more likely in the mid-60s. That's one forecast model there. But currently at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, it's 72 degrees with a few clouds around. The dew point temperature way up there, 68. Humidity at 87%, and when the temperature dew point gets so close and winds are calm, there's a chance to see some fog, and we may see that starting to form later on this evening. 82 the high today, well above the average of 75, and no rainfall to report. We could use a little bit of rain. It was very dry in November, and so far dry in December. Well, the futurecast is showing that front kind of get hung up on Wednesday just to the north of us, and then there's a little system that will develop along that front, which will sweep a cold front our way on Friday. We could see a few showers on Thursday. We're not anticipating any rainfall, significant rain on Wednesday, but a few showers are possible on Thursday as a result of that system. And as far as lows go tonight, we'll see them dropping down into the mid-60s, and then highs tomorrow will warm up quite nicely into the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Well, for boaters tomorrow, it looks to be pretty good. Boating weather, things will change, though, on to Thursday and Friday in advance of that front. A light chop in the bays and inland waters. Water temperature is really warmed up at 74 degrees. That's soon to change, too. Low tide upcoming at 6:57. We just had that. High tide will be at 12:38. And sunrise at 7:07. Mostly fair, some fog forming, 66 for your low. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy, continued warm, a high of 80. And the extended forecast does call for warm weather on Thursday and a rainy day on Friday, especially in the afternoon and evening into Saturday morning, too, some rain. And then temperatures staying into the mid-60s through Monday with some 40s on wake-up day on Sunday. Al will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back. We're talking about the special election in Sarasota's District 72 House seat. It is primary day for the Democrats, and joining us for more is Democratic political activist Gabriel Hammond and Sarasota Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler. The results are still coming in as we speak, but our buddy Zach Anderson at the Herald Tribune, he reported it looks like an insurmountable lead for Margaret Good, and apparently Margaret Good just arrived at her campaign headquarters, and she claims there is not enough votes left to change the outcome. Anybody surprised?
Not too surprised. You know, I had the race at a 65-35 split between Juniari and Good, or a 60-40 split, because, you know, the folks who had supported Bernie initially are really amped up, as well as all the Democrats in District 72. But Good ran a traditional campaign. It was well financed, small donations all the way up to $1,000
Can I stop you
level.
for a second? Traditional campaign includes televised debates, which we do not have here. And I was going to ask you both about this later, but I'll ask about it now since you brought it up. Yeah. How does Margaret Good try to get James Buchanan to debate if he can claim, well, you weren't able to, you did not debate your primary challenger?
You know, it's a tough position to be in. I don't necessarily think I would have advised that if I was consulting for that campaign. But when you are in the winner's seat and you're about to win a race, you do want to selectively choose which public forums you appear in, because you want to make sure you don't personally make a gaffe, and you also don't want to give your opponent who's far back in behind your lead an opportunity to bludgeon you on TV if they do have that opportunity.
Democrats love to debate.
Well, you know, if you look into the general now, and you have to parse words here. I know Margaret Good was all throughout the district debating and appearing at forums that were less charged. And for some reason, Mr. Buchanan in the general election has initiated a blanket policy that he won't be appearing at any public forum. So I'll let Christian address that.
And Christian, I'm going to ask you that question because, you know, I understand what Gabriel said in terms of if you have the money, if you think you're going to win, but don't voters in this district and everywhere have the right to see the Republican, the Democrat, the Libertarian, or anyone debate each other? Because after all, they're supposed to be going to Tallahassee to debate their cases in the legislature.
Yeah, personally, I'm a big fan of debates. I mean, no matter what the situation is. But when you look at this, Margaret Good really stepped in it, and it was probably the definition of short-sighted, because by coming out in a primary that she was most likely going to win anyway because she had the money and she had the network behind her, you know, the establishment, she could have had the debate and it probably wouldn't have been an issue. Even if she did make a mistake, she'd probably overcome it. But now what that's done is it's opened up where on the Republican side, if she's not going to do a debate in her primary that's contested, why should we do a debate with her? So it gives kind of cover, and whether you agree with it or not, that's kind of the reality.
Why shouldn't Mr. Buchanan debate his opponent, whether or not that happened? After all, Vern Buchanan is his dad, and he has debated every Democrat every time he has run for election or re-election, no matter how far back they were or how little money. Vern Buchanan debated them.
He has, and you know, that's a question you'd have to ask James. But you know, from their campaign, from what I've heard, is they're going directly to the voters. So I know they have an army of people that are out there going door to door. James is going out there door to door. They're going to be having their own events. They're going to be reaching out directly to voters. So I understand the concern with the debate, but you know, the question is when you have a debate, where do you have the debate? If it's not on this channel, people get upset, right? If it's on another channel, the other channel gets upset. If it's at a forum, some other group gets upset. So where do you draw the line? No. But you know,
I would say if you want the maximum exposure for your candidate, it would be on this broadcast. But if you have no debates and you have no joint appearances, it's really kind of left, is it not, to those who have the loudest voice, who could spend the most amount of money for paid advertising or mailers, and it kind of robs the voters from seeing both candidates challenging each other live with some pressure on?
Well, I think the voters at the end of the day, they care what are people's positions, what are the candidates' positions on issues, and what is their background. And that's what they're going to look at. And you don't necessarily need to have a debate to figure that out. I mean, you could literally go on their website, you can go to their events that they're speaking at, and you can hear directly from them. So, you know, I think back in the day when we only had ABC, CBS, NBC, debates were very powerful. Now with social media, you can connect directly with the voters and share your message.
KP, you're not seeing both candidates pitted against each other like both of you are debating this issue right now with each other. Does that not rob the voters who are the decision makers from seeing how their elected leaders would handle themselves under pressure?
Well, it's so characteristic of the current political climate. We're debating about having a debate. But at the end of the day, from what I know from reading articles about this race and talking to the campaigns, Margaret Good is offering to debate her general election opponents, which includes a Libertarian and a Republican, Mr. Buchanan. So it'll be up to the press and the media to apply enough pressure to where all the candidates appear.
I think that's a clear indication when you look at strategy, and I've worked on a lot of campaigns, and as you have, that's a clear indication that Margaret Good was confident in winning the primary. That's why she turned down debates. Now looking at the general, she does not feel like she's the front runner, and that's why she's asking for debates.
How does this set up here? You have, I know there's a disparity in terms of how much Margaret Good has raised in terms of campaign contributions as opposed to James Buchanan, but still relatively Margaret Good has been well financed. She has the backing of a lot of Democrats around here who have contributed to her campaign. I'm sure the state parties will get involved. Is this any different than any other setup or general election in terms of this kind of race?
Yeah, you know, a special election is exactly that. It's special, and it usually connotes a lower turnout than a general election during a presidential year or a gubernatorial off year. Of the campaigns I have ran on the Republican and Democratic side, there are usually 3 phases to a campaign. 1 is identifying your potential voters. 2 is communicating with them and persuading them that you're the right guy or gal for the job. And the 3rd is making sure they get to the polls on election day or return their ballots via mail. Because we have such a compressed time frame, we're going to see folks appealing to the base of the Republican and Democratic sides, folks who are going to vote in any election if there is an election, and making sure they get to the polls, so there'll be less persuasion and more motivating those base voters.
Christian, we're running out of time in this segment, but in terms of, and we'll continue this, but in terms of the issues, what would you say are the issues that will be centered to this election?
This is a traditional Republican, conservative Republican versus liberal Democrat race. I mean, you have Margaret Good, she's pro-abortion, anti-Second Amendment, she's pro-spending, pro-higher taxes. And then you have James and she's a lawyer as well. She's an attorney. And then you have James Buchanan, who's a businessman. He's pro-life, he's pro-Second Amendment, he's anti-tax. lower spending. So that's what they're going to debate on with those issues. And I think when you look at this, there's a lot of voters that are still out there that want to see people support our president, especially in this district. This is a district he won. And I think that that's going to really resonate with those voters, and that's what we're going to see happen.
Okay, we have new numbers coming in as we speak. Thank you, Haley. The latest update with 97% of precincts reporting Margaret Good has 72.4% of the vote to Ruta Giuliani's 27.60% of the vote. I think it's fair to say that Margaret Good is the winner of the Democratic primary, and we congratulate her. We'll have to take a quick break. Final thoughts when we return.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-817-1064.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life, you miss precious moments. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye and over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. Our simple 3-step process begins with a free evaluation, followed by an extensive preoperative exam to determine if you're a candidate for LASIK eye surgery. Depending on the results of your evaluation and eye exam, you and your surgeon will choose the LASIK option that works best for you. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation. That's a $100 value, free. Call the LASIK Vision Institute for your free evaluation and enjoy more of your life.
Call 1-800-813-0109. 1-800-813-0109.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Gabriel, I'm going to give you a first shot because according to Christian, typical race, Margaret Good is a liberal, for abortion, against Second Amendment, and she's a lawyer.
Well, you know, that's the rhetoric that's going to come out of the right-leaning wing of the Republican Party because, you know, if you're running a smart campaign, you want to turn out your base in those types of terms, get people out to vote. In terms of the district overall, which spans south of University Parkway, north of Laurel Road, with Siesta Key included, downtown Sarasota's cut out, folks are concerned about funding public education because we have an A-rated school district in this county. And they're also concerned about environmental preservation, ensuring that oil drilling off the coast does not occur under any circumstances whatsoever. So you're going to hear a lot about public education, a lot about environmental protection, and that's going to get Democrats out to vote. Other things will get Republicans out to vote.
Well, let me ask you this, because, I mean, we've been talking about abortion and abortion rights. This legislature tried to pass a law restricting a woman's right to get an abortion. This is something that the legislature keeps going back to. Why not, if Democrats feel strongly about this, put this front and center?
You know, that messaging may make its way into the campaign, and supporting Planned Parenthood and preserving a woman's right to choose, which is now been decided by the Supreme Court for decades, that is representative of the district. If you look back at Republicans and Democrats who have represented District 72, going back to Shirley Brown in the 90s and then Alex Miller most recently, those were all pro-choice women. So we'll see what happens.
Christian, let me ask you this. What chance do you think that this race, again, becomes a statewide, if not national, race, because everybody wants, as we mentioned earlier, to know how this sets up for the midterms?
The Democrats will try to do that because they're trying to find any wins that they can and something that they can spotlight after having a historic loss last year in Donald Trump's presidential run. So you'll see that from the Democrats. On the Republican side, again, I don't think that this race, which is a special election, low voter turnout, is really going to tell you much.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest on local breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app does not work, that's because it is expired. Just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank both our guests for being here tonight. Democratic political activist Gabriel Hammond and Sarasota Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus Jerry Zivick coming up.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $279 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Choral Artists of Sarasota presents Too Hot to Handle. Add an electric spark to your holiday season with the return of this joyful gospel reinvention of Handel's Messiah. Shout hallelujah and get ready for a roof-raising performance featuring an ensemble of 100 singers, plus exceptional musicians and outstanding soloists, including Amy Jo Connors and members of the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. Sunday, December 10th, 7:30 p.m. at the Van Wezel. Tickets and info are at choralartistsarasota.org.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first, Medicaid and Medicare are relied on by millions of Americans. But what is the difference between the two? And here to talk about that is ABC7 consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick. Jerry, frankly, a lot of people don't know what the difference is between Medicare and Medicaid. So what is it?
Well, it's confusing because they both share the same 6 letters. Right. But the big difference is one is based upon need, which is Medicaid, and Medicare, if you've paid into the Medicare system for 10 years of your work life, you're eligible. That's the big difference.
So does that mean you can get both? The Medicare will pay for some expenses and Medicaid will pay for others?
It's very rare that there's an overlap. And basically, the big difference between Medicare and Medicaid in terms of what it will offer, Medicaid will offer actually long-term care. And Medicare basically only provides care if you need a skilled facility for a limited period of time. That's why oftentimes people will want to create trusts so they can qualify for Medicare.
How difficult at this point is it for individuals to get on Medicaid if they need it?
It varies from state to state, and you have to have very limited resources to be able to qualify for Medicaid. This is part of the whole discussion that's going on with the Affordable Care Act, too.
Right, and is it also important to understand that Medicare is a federal program and Medicaid is a state program?
Exactly. Medicare is the same all across all 50 of our states. Medicaid changes from state to state. Basically, the government gives each state a stipend to create their own rules. So if you're moving from state to state, you have to make sure you're going to be able to get the same care.
Right. So with Medicare, a lot of people also get supplemental insurance to cover the costs that are not covered by Medicare. In terms of Medicaid, how do people who need it apply for it?
Well, basically, they have to go to the public aid department in their individual county or state and apply for Medicaid. And it's basically, if you have a medical problem and you don't have any other access to health care, I would encourage everybody to apply for Medicaid.
And the funding for Medicaid, is that really at the whim of state legislatures?
That's a lot to do with it, and I actually believe that it's going to get more and more difficult to qualify.
Right. What about Medicare? Because right now, especially with the tax cuts that are being proposed by the GOP, there have been some analysts who say that, in terms of to help defray the cost of the tax cuts, there are going to be changes made to both Social Security and Medicare.
Well, I think you can set your watch on that. There's huge deficits with Medicare as it is right now. And what's interesting is people buy these supplemental plans and they think they're going to be locked in on a premium for a year, but if you read the fine print, the insurance company can actually change your premium whenever it wants. So there's no guarantee on anything here now.
Okay, Jerry, thank you very much. Jerry joins us every other Tuesday in our For Your Benefit segment. Stay tuned. We'll have Margaret Good live next.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now before it's too late.
Make us swim! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Welcome back. The polls are closed, and Margaret Good has apparently won the Democratic primary in the special election in District 72, the House seat. We are joined by Margaret Good, who is joining us live from Darwin Evolutionary Cuisine. Margaret, congratulations. How do you feel tonight? I know it must be very loud there. And apparently all your supporters watch ABC7, which is a good thing. But how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I am honored and humbled by our success tonight. We had a whole team of volunteers that have worked tirelessly for months to bring in this success for the campaign, and I just feel really good about it.
Well, let me ask you this. This race, as it was laid out, was really a contest between Democrats who have been active in the party, who have contributed to the party, against the progressive wing of the party, which is trying to have a growing role in terms of Democratic politics. Do you see it that way? And if so, how do you get the progressives more involved in your campaign and on board as you go into the general election?
I thought it was really good to have the dialogue that we had during the primary and to listen to everyone's ideas and what Ruta Gennari brought to the discussion was really important, and I look forward to working with the entire party moving forward.
We were just talking about this race here on the trapezoid, which you have visited, and it was laid out in a couple of different ways. The Republicans are viewing this as a traditional Republican versus Democrat race where the big issues are going to be abortion rights and the Second Amendment and so forth. And Gabriel Hammond, the Democratic analyst, said that public education and the environment will be the central issues. What issues do you want to take on and have as the central issues in this general election?
So I want to do what's good for Florida, and I think that means that we have a good public education system, that we do what's right for the environment, and that we protect our natural resources, and that we do what's good for our local economy. I mean, what will make Sarasota a better place for everyone to live.
Let me ask you this. You have raised an impressive amount of money. James Buchanan has raised more. Are you concerned about the disparity in terms of how much money and resources you'll have to basically, campaign and beat a well-funded incumbent Republican challenger?
No, I think the Democrats are fired up, and I think that we are going to do everything we can, from grassroots efforts to fundraising, to win this election.
Okay, Margaret Good, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Congratulations once again, and that's all the time that we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.